It's like so many things are just going down there in the east for the presence of the acting IGP, Alkali Baba, to go down to the east to speak to the security personnel to encourage them to be on the red alert. Don't forget about the jailbreak. Don't forget also about so many other things making the rounds in the east. From there, we can delve into so many other aspects of the country that is really, really affecting everyone. Yeah. It's all about security of lives and property in our beloved country, Nigeria. With me here in the studio, he was one time a vice chairman and of course an acting chairman of a local government, a politician, an agriculturist. I keep on wondering why he refused to go to bar, refused to practice law. He's a legal practitioner also. Jeremy, welcome, Honorable Desmond Ugbo.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
And somebody close to him, he is a labor devotee, a political analyst, both local and international politics. Yes, both of them, they are well grounded. Jeremy, to welcome morning Mike Modesty to welcome to TMI on this edition.
Good morning, listen. You also good morning to all of you.
Okay. Well, it used to be the Niger Delta squabble some years ago. All of a sudden, it became insurgents, Boko Haram in the north. Then you got to hear about farmers' herders clash. It diverged into kidnappings, banditry, everything just happening at the same time. People are like wondering what is really going on. It went into another dimension of jailbreaks. That was during the hashtag #EndSARS protests. And after that, thinking that all is under control, so hearing about security officials or agents being attacked, especially from the southeastern part of Nigeria, with various police stations bombed. And of course, over 1,000 prisoners escaped. And FJ right now is asking for Interpol help to track over 3,000 escapees, so to speak, in Nigeria. With all this put together, let me start up with you, Honorable Desmond Ugbo. How did we get here?
Thank you very much. You see, insecurity anywhere is a threat to prosperity everywhere. The problem of insecurity in Nigeria has been there, but the alarming and the worsening state hasn't been like this before. There are several causes of insecurity in this country, Nigeria, today. We have the issue of religious fanaticism, extremism. We have the issue of political, what I call wrong political ambition. We have the issue of government inability or indecision to make good the promises they made during the electionary campaign. We have the issue of unemployment. We have the issue of banditry, like you have just mentioned, kidnapping, and all sorts of vices that now culminated in the worsening insecurity situation that we are facing today. And if you recall vividly, when Boko Haram insurgency just started, we were having the issue of suicide bombers. We were having the issue of killings, maiming, terrorism, and today the insecurity in this country has taken a different dimension, has evolved over the years, and this has given a cause for concern for every Nigerian. What is now in vogue, or the word that is commonly in the lips of every Nigerian, is insecurity. This is because the security architecture of our country, it seems the coordinated attacks recently has betrayed the paramilitary strategy and so many other, the approach they devised to nip such insecurity in the bud. One will begin to wonder, where is the place of the police in all of this? Where is the place of the government? Even in the face of all this, We are seeing governors being paid security votes on a monthly basis, and yet they've not been able to coordinate the security in the state, or rather to mobilize the paramilitary in the state to curb the excesses of these bandits, these kidnappers, these illegal militias. You are seeing different kinds of vigilante group owing to the failure of the security authorities in our land. The recent happening in Imo State will leave one with no doubt than to reason what would have given birth to the Eastern Security Networks when the governors, or rather the government at that end, were not involved. How can one person single-handedly coordinate the recruitment and training of a set of people without the knowledge or the approval of the governors in that part of the country?
All right.
And that is the reason why we are beginning to think, could this be a denial game on the part of the chief executive officers in the eastern part of the country, or can we now begin to think that there are tacit connivance between the government of the eastern part of the country and the so-called Eastern Security Network?
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Now, you just calm down. We'll get to that. Now, he gave a solid foundation to this discussion. As a Labour devotee, I believe I've been following this trend. After all, if there is security somewhere along the line, of the workforce, they're always affected. And right now, we're focusing on the East. He gave an example of a network single-handedly funded, so to speak, by a single individual in the southeastern part of Nigeria, and according to me, to protect their territory, protect their interests. You think that this group is causing more harm than good?
I think, in addition to the foundation he has laid,
Yeah.
I would want to also inform you that the list of the different types of security you mentioned are very, very exhaustive. You've not talked about food security, you've not talked about economic security, you have not talked about social security, you have not talked about political security, and so many other types of security. These other ones that I'm talking about are the ones that have given rise to this physical insecurity we are all seeing. As we speak, people are using human parts. You didn't mention that. People are being butchered, organs being taken away for rituals and others.
I would want us to paint that picture right now on air, please.
That is another form of insecurity. And if you ask, somebody will tell you, as a result of economic deprivation, that is why he has gone to that extent. The state we are having in Imo is not different or that from what we're having in all the nooks and crannies of Nigeria. It's just that they have taken theirs to another level entirely. Wherever you go in Nigeria, the level of insecurity is so high, extremely alarming. They come in different folds, and the styles are different. Generally speaking, in Nigeria as a country today, we are beginning to travel the part of Somalia. And if you ask the eastern part I'm talking about, I will tell you, a great injustice has been done to the easterners of Nigeria by the Federal Republic of Nigeria, not just only this government, right from time immemorial. Since the era of the Civil War, the end of the Civil War.
How?
Yes. What makes you feel that somebody you have quarreled with can no longer be trusted? Because certain things happened. And these are the people who are the economic hub of this country and Africa as a whole. What makes you feel there are no good eggs in that part of this world that can turn things around for us, for our good? That we have to take our generational enmity to this present day. What is good for the goose should be good for the gander.
Are you talking about the shadow of the Civil War?
Yes! A lot of things historically we have to trace where these troubles are coming from. Okay, we are members of the same family. The tongue and the teeth, they cohabit inside the mouth, they quarrel, they fight, and they don't divorce themselves. What makes you feel that because the Easterners went on civil war, they can no longer be trusted to rule this country or be given a consideration to attain positions? What makes you feel is a particular section of this country that will continue to lobby over every other person? the nepotic leadership we have had over the years, the deliberate attempts to annihilate some group in this country by some other people. When something is happening in the East, you rush in all the military men there. But when it is happening somewhere in another part of this country that are even worse, you do not send any single military man to the place. Where is the place of dialogue? Why are you not using that as an instrument? Why are we pretending that all is well when we know all is not well? Nothing is even well. Unfortunately, we're talking about insecurity. Our children have been moved from schools every now and then in the northern part of this country. Even in Mr. President's home state, Katsina is not at peace. The northwest is not at peace. The northeast is not at peace. The north central is not at peace. The southwest is not at peace. The southeast is not at peace. And the south side is also not at peace. Shall we wait till when everything collapses before we shall act? Fundamentally, a lot of things went wrong. How many of our youths have drowned at the Mediterranean Sea? How many of them are drowned as I'm talking right now? Leadership failure. Not just now, it has always been there. The wealthiest nation, by God's blessing, in Africa, yet the headquarters of poverty. How many of our daughters are being slaughtered on daily basis in some hotels and some other places for ritual purposes?
Watch that word slaughter.
How many of our young ones?
We don't use that word slaughter.
Okay, sorry. I withdraw that. Okay. How many of our young ones, boys, no longer see anything good in hard work? Because those who are floating in money, many of them no longer see anything good. Money is anything you can get from anywhere. So nobody is preaching hard work. Those who are even doing the hard work, how are they being appreciated? How are they being motivated? If a student studies and becomes a first class holder, and during the award ceremony he's giving 1,000, 2,000 naira as an award, and somebody gets naked on the screen and is giving a limousine brand new, where is the justification? Our institutions, religious, traditional, political, are we living to the expectation of our children? The era of reading, writing, and arithmetic is gone. We are now in the digital age. I was astonished when you talk of all the evil vices in the world today. Nigerians are present. Let it be in Asia. Let it be in the Western world. We are present. And we are not talked about in good manners. So if God has blessed you with everything God gave to us, yet we are not able to harness any for the good of our people. Yet we are not able, the resources available to us, we are not even able to say how do we distribute it to make it go around everybody. Food we don't have to eat. We have natural resources, kerosene our women cannot get. We have natural resources, our boys who are building their own refineries in the creeks, who ought to be motivated, recruit them, teach them the art of refining products. Recruit them to the mainstream and get them off from the illicit trade. Nobody is attending to them. Our boys are having arms and ammunition everywhere. Former head of state, Abubakar, mentioned recently that we have well over 6 million ammunition roughly around the entire country. That is a small figure. The borders are extremely porous. Migrants from Mali, from Libya, and others, war migrants, are all floating to Nigeria and they are blending everywhere. They have taken over our forests and everybody. Our farmers who are within us can no longer go to farm. They can no longer produce food. Political inequality and disequilibrium is everywhere. And we had a beautiful document that was originated in 2014 called Nobody is ready to look at it.
All right.
Things will fall apart if we do not make haste while the sun shines.
Thank you so much, Morning Mike. It's like you talking about a recipe for disaster, picking on one particular aspect of the society, and of course another saying these ones are not really in place, the others are not in place, which are valid points. Now, you're talking about Eastern Security Network. In addition to what you talked about, generally speaking, the state of the nation, food insecurity, and the likes of it. Some are accusing this network of being the brain behind these attacks in the East. What do you have to say about it?
You don't need a juju priest to tell you that there is iota of truth in such accusation that the Eastern Security Network recent activities must have been responsible for the attack of these police facilities. Note also that during the time when this Kanu Nnamdi was in Nigeria, mobilizing his people, the indigenous people of Biafra, trying to tell the federal government that they have the right to secede from this country as a result of the derecognition of this set of people. Even in the arrangement of this country, it is that part of the country we have 5 states from the 6th geopolitical zone, an indication that they have so much be derecognized, and that in the scheme of things in this country, the Igbo people have not been trusted to be given a position of authority, such as the head of the military, the head of the police, the immigration, the custom, and just name them. All these are pointed to the fact that these people, though it's not enough for them to take laws into their hand, seceding from a country is not a child's play. They tested that during the Biafra War between 1967 and 1970, and that war had been put to an end. But that did not suggest that there is no civil, a kind of invisible civil war in the country. There is no part of the country as we speak that is not being fed by the way and manner the current government is governing the country. A situation where it comes to a time when the police has failed woefully in their constitutional responsibility to protect lives and property. They now begin to see regional body organizing their security networks, like the Amotekun. And we see, one will not take it out of the formation of that Eastern Security Network, but for a single person to organize such a security network is where the question marks lies. Talking about whether these people must have been responsible for the jailbreak or for the arson that we just seen recently. Yes, I will ally with them, and to also point the fact that when Nnamdi Kanu was arrested, detained, and eventually he fled the country, how on earth, even with the presence of the security men monitoring his home, and at the end of the day only heard his voice outside the country, how on earth would that happen if the security at home were not responsible in colluding with him to escape? And today, a lot of people were arrested and detained in several correctional facilities in the East. And that is the reason why I'm beginning to suspect that the Eastern Security Network, who attacked the correctional centers to break the jail and allow those who have been in custody to flee, is because most of their men are there. And note also that these police headquarters and the correctional facilities, they are almost opposite the government house of Imo State. Very close. It's the same vicinity. How will it happen if we're told that about 10 buses loaded with different men with arms, and they were even having sub-machine gun, general machine gun, rocket propeller, all sorts of weapons? When we are talking about proliferation of arms and ammunition in the country, the porosity of our border, and the influence of illegal aliens in our place without proper documentation of same, it is an indication that the government in itself, or rather the security architecture, has failed totally. Right. A situation whereby even those who are members of the ESN were former members of the Operation Dule who resigned, or those people who voluntarily, or those who retired. We also have military men who were not paid properly, who were not taken properly in the operational theater of the Sambisa Forest and all that, they have all retired or resigned and joined this set of people because they are well paid. Ask me if a policeman that has been given an arm to police the street and the society is not properly paid, and yet he has a gun, and you are going with a huge sum of money, and nobody is watching. There is no CCTV camera. There is nothing to record. Just like what happened in the US, where Floyd was
George Floyd. Yeah.
George Floyd. The policeman has what they call a body camera. As he was effecting the arrest and doing all sorts of things, all these things were recorded, and in their database, it was all connected and recorded. Right. So in Nigeria, anybody with arms can do anything stupid, because even the advent of this vigilante here and there, is there proper coordination of these people? We'll come to in that. Every new county, you see people in the name of vigilante, they tie red cloth around their locally made guns. You see people fabricating guns here and there. Outside what the Abubakar has just mentioned, that there are millions of arms everywhere.
6 million
I have seen a lot of people who are ordinary men carrying arms on a broad daylight, and the ordinary man, nobody is talking to them.
I'll come back to you, Honorable Desmond, because it's really, really worrisome. But the Eastern Security Network, IPOB, they've not really come out to claim responsibility. And they are saying that they're not the one responsible. You've not done your investigation, you just heap the blame on them. Take it up from there.
Well, I was almost thinking on that particular direction. There is no empirical proof to demonstrate that either IPOD or either the Eastern Security Network is responsible for this. When you find yourself in an uncommon situation, anything can come from anywhere. The level of disenchantment, the degree of disenchantment, even in our armed forces, in our police force, and virtually all segments of society, is so very high. So very, very high. Some time ago I heard that many military men were putting in for resignation, and so we're going for retirement.
And the military refuted it, saying it's not true.
The military refuted it.
So can they come out and own up to it?
No, let me tell you. The people who are in Sambisa, on the side of Nigeria, are not our brothers and sisters. Are we sure they are well treated, even better than the way we, the other citizens, are treated? The policemen we are even complaining about, are they not our brothers and our sisters? Are they not living in this society? Are they given preferential treatment? And these are category of personnel that are supposed to be given specialized treatment, motivation of the highest order. These people are not motivated anywhere. I am told some still buy their own uniform, some still buy their shoes. And you want them to put their lives on the line for you. Listen, I tell you, many of those who are involved in these forces here and there, many of them have even gone in there, not because of patriotism, but because I have no other place to find employment. Let me go in there. And what we are complaining of, nepotism, tribalism, this are present in all these areas. Who wants to be sacrificed? Is it not even alarming that Nigeria Air Force, within a month, or so to speak, lost 2 aircrafts? Is it not alarming? Who is asking any question? Is it that we don't have the competence? Or we are not able to forecast to know the condition of our aircraft before they move? That's another story for another day. The policemen were talking about our brothers and our sisters. They are living in this society with us. Many of them, they are tenants in other people's houses. How many of them are quartered in the barracks? What is the state of Nigeria barracks? Whether it is the police or it's the military, what is the condition of the Nigeria barracks? Have you not heard of a time where an army general carted away hundreds of millions of naira, and the boys who escorted the money decided to disappear into the air? Why would they not disappear into the air? They are also seeing the rots in the system. And if they have the opportunity of avenging some of this political imbalance, some of this economic deprivation, some of these nepotic behavioral patterns, let me tell you, they will want to. How many, my brother mentioned arms and ammunition everywhere. our people here, our local people, they fabricate guns and others. How many of them have been assembled into a science industry?
Yeah.
So all of you, come. What stops us from importing arms? Can't we import arms? If these people are brought together, push them, train them formally, supervise them, and we're not going to be making fortunes economically from what they produce. Rockets that flies everywhere, not the human being one. Do we forbid it? Do we forbid it? AK-47 is everywhere. They are in their millions. In their millions. Now, responsible citizens who are not supposed to have access to this arms and ammunition, they are deprived by the laws of the land. But these things find themselves easily. Like they interviewed one suspect some months back. He said to have access to arms is like going to buy bread. That's what he said. He said having access to arms is like going to buy bread, a loaf of bread. Yet these things are being imported, brought into this country by people. They are being used against the people, killing, maiming, all sorts of disadvantages coming out from it. Yet those responsible people who are supposed to have access don't have access. Why not liberalize the possession of guns? If you know I have, he has, I have. Even if it's compassion, let everybody have access to it. In America, nobody can just wake up and say, I want to go and kill Americans. Because we know that the next neighbor will have the more powerful gun. It is not as if ordinarily we would have loved to advocate this, but it is becoming existentially inevitable. So if I have a son who can fabricate a gun, for instance, why can government not get him into an academy where he can transform, become independent, make more money for both for government, himself, and many society to thrive? How many of our children have you seen with local helicopters flying? How far have they been? Have they been motivated? So, if you understand what is on ground, Eastern Security Network, Abopekun, all sorts of networks we're talking about, they are coming up as a result of failure in society, failure by government, successive government. Successive government. I don't want to let the whole blame on President Buhari's table, although he has been part of successive governments. Failures. Now, we have the best brains all over the world. In the field of medicine, in the field of engineering, just to mention it. Why do our governments allow our citizens who are excelling so high overseas to move EMAs? Yet, here we are suffering. Our big men will travel overseas for Medicare. Our poor people will continue to die here. Meanwhile, our sons and daughters are celebrated overseas. Nigeria as a country has become a misnomer. Rhetorically, has become a misnomer. How are we getting ourselves out of this quagmire? We see, I tell you, I am alarmed because there is no safety for any of us. There is no safety anywhere. Because a child who has not gotten food to eat for 3-4 days, who God may have destined for greatness, and knows that at least the aroma of stew is coming out from your house, may decide to say whether they lock their gate or not.
That's what you need.
Because hunger is so much in the land. Anger is so much in the land. And when there is a marriage of anger and hunger, disaster looms.
All right.
Apart from economic, political inequalities, socio-economic inequalities, religious inequalities, tribal inequalities, nepotic inequalities, a lot of things are responsible for it. Now, you are hearing, things are falling apart. The center is no longer holding. More anarchy has been losing upon the country. The falcon is not hearing the falconer. Let me tell you, recently I read and I was said that a son decided to take the life of a mother.
Yes.
For money's sake.
Yeah.
If a mother who could carry a son, labor for 9 months, could be so used or intended to be used, and the mother became smarter at the end of the day, where are we going to?
Good
the
question.
devil has taken over our country, Nigeria.
Well, we would want to say that the devil has taken over because we are still fighting, and by his grace we are going to win the battle. The devil hasn't taken over, not yet, not just yet. Now, from what he said investigations were not concluded and this set of persons were blamed. But Hope Uzodinma, the governor of Imo State, Owerri, said this is all political. It is political in the sense that they want to tarnish his own image and of course tarnish the image of Mr. President. What are your views on that?
I don't want to believe him, because every one of them so believe that whatever befell them is political, even when they fail in their own responsibility to discharge what is expected of them. How can you blame such an attack on political reasons? How? Even when the former AIG was there threatening fire and brimstone, less than 24 hours, another attack took place. And as we speak, not even a single person has been arrested. Over 1,800 inmates were let out to the society. And there are reports that some of those who left the correctional centers are in the street begging. Some are even doing cleaning job and hawking and all that. So all these are certain failure on the part of those who are also crying wolf where there is none. There is none. So can we blame everything on politics? Even when you cannot impregnate your wife, you say it is political. Even when you cannot feed your children, you say it is political. So we must learn how to...
But don't forget the fight between the former governor and the present governor, because they pointed out that though indirectly,
that is not
they want
enough
to
to
make the state
degenerate.
ungovernable for him.
He cannot degenerate to a state where it is when probably he's failing his own responsibility as a governor. If not, when you are focused, there are certain things you do that will even defile all sort of antagonism from any quarter. Do what is expected of you as a governor, and let the shame be upon those who are opposing you. So I think for me, I don't subscribe to that belief that it is political. What I am seeing here is that those who are carrying out this attack are well trained and they are organized.
Trained and organized?
Yes, it is now the lot of the security authority in this country to roll out their strategy, their security strategy, to nip them in the bud instead of calling for Interpol. That is just a symbol of failure. You have failed. When you fail to
Is it a crime to call for the help of Interpol?
Calling for Interpol?
Yeah, to come help them trace the escaped prisoners. Over 3,000, they're there in the country.
Calling Interpol to come and trace what is missing in your house? It's very unfortunate. So for me, I believe that it is hard time we begin to tell ourselves the truth. Because Nigerians are beginning, all these people in authority are living in denial. They know what is happening and they are just calling a Kento pot, calling a spade a shovel, when the truth is there that even in the eastern part of this country, has any of these governors come together to say, okay, let us fashion a way out, to work together as a group, just like the American met, and they all synergize and work out a modality of how to curb this insecurity. And now we are seeing, yes, nepotism is very high. Very, very high in whatever the government of today is doing. And that is enough to anger you to do something stupid. People were expecting the next IG to have come from another part of the country. The same part of the country. What is happening? Can we say that there is no other qualified person that will do the job? When you are doing one thing repeatedly and expecting to get a different result, it doesn't work. So let us also change hands in whatever we are doing and see if there will be no difference. So I think the problem here, the problem of insecurity is as a result of the insecurity of our economy, the insecurity of our... Let me tell you, between now and the next year, there will be no food, there will be problem. Because the forest has been turned to a slaughtering ground.
Please watch that word. Please.
But that is the best word I can use for it.
Don't look for other words.
And our farmland has been turned to raping field. And I think one of the reasons why the Eastern Security Network was organized is to flush out all these people who have occupied the forest, who have occupied their farmland, and thereby making the people now being in fear to go to farm and make ends meet. And when there is no food, the situation of our insecurity will worsen. Because a man, just like as he painted, when you are hungry, there is no hope That state of hopelessness will lead one to do anything stupid. Because, for example, if you are hungry and you are expecting that by 4 o'clock in the evening, you will get food to eat, you can endure. But when you are not expecting any food to come between now till December, then you now fend for yourself. And that is the stage we are in. Now, the workers are not being paid as and when due. Even their salary cannot take them home. The police we are talking about still buy their uniform and their shoes and all that with their own money. What are they now working for? Their future is not secured. We see small boys in the name of Yahoo and all the ritual. And they are making money, and money is now the order of the day. If you don't have money, you are nobody. If you don't have money, you are nobody. I saw on social media where a young boy beheaded his mother and buried her in a shallow grave, all for the name of money making. Who will join you to enjoy the money? If your mother has used you when it's even would have bring more money when you are in fetus or baby to make money, will you have been alive? You know, the quest for money nowadays is just the beginning of satanic attack on this country. And we are beginning to see that the government is not doing anything to arrest it. When there is a foundation for decadence, a foundation for moral decadence, you see children are now worshiping those who have money. If you don't have money and you have the truth, they will stone you to death. And truth telling is now a crime in our climate. If you tell the truth, you end up becoming poor. For those who are good in telling lies, who are good in tatafo and olofofo, you see them making money very soon. But for those who stand for truth, they say, let us say our truth, they come up for your mouth, you see you die. You die for truth. So all these are setting indices to see that this country that we are in, I don't know, things will fall apart.
I will pray it doesn't get to that. Talk about things falling apart. Well, we're about to commence our descent on this discussion. For what he said it's not political, because Opusonima said, look, this has political undertone that might detract us. They want to call my government bad. All right, we want to call the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari bad. It's all about politics, and one linking one and two together in Imo State. People like, maybe governor, you are saying the truth. What do you feel about that?
The whole Opusonima is entitled to his opinion, but I refuse totally to buy into it. I will never concur. Like my brother has just said, politicians are like that. They always look for where to heap their blames, even when they are failing woefully. I have expected him to have asked, why are things the way they are? Mobilize all your traditional rulers, the youth leaders, the religious organizations, to say, please, let's talk to our boys. Boys, send me 2-3 representatives. Please come, let's talk. Do this underground. If you can reach out to Nnamdi Kanu, which you are taking some people are taking the responsible. What stops you go from reaching out to Nnamdi Kanu? Ego, pride, and things are getting bad, moving from bad to worse. If you know the eggheads of these organizations that are speaking up, reach out to them. There are people they still listen to. The bandits will listen to Gumi. Is that also? There are people they still listen to. You listen to Gumi.
They have their godfathers
stoop low
in the corridor of power.
You must stoop low to conquer. And I want to remain on the side of the fact that whether government, those in authority like it or not, all these evils that we are seeing, political inequality, disequilibrium, nepotism, economic disadvantages here and there, they are surfacing in all spheres of our security network. An Igbo man who ought to have aspired to be maybe a major general in the next 1 year gets prematurely retired now because an office exists. Or a Yoruba man who's hired that office is retired. Or an Hausa man who's hired that office is retired for another person to climb. All the tribes of Hausa or Igbo or Yoruba in the entire force will be psychologically affected. So when I hear they talk about there is no teamwork in the military, no cohesion in planning policies and others, It's like most of them don't know what they're saying. Do the right thing at the right time. When there is no a house that is divided against itself, will never stand. Most of those attacks will be against governors here and there. Insiders will inform the others. They'll say, oh boy, get ready. Judas carols. There are Judas carols everywhere. They'll say, get ready. So time. And behold, if our military intelligence is which we expect it to be higher than Boko Haram and others, such military intelligence is trampled under the feet. And these guys who do not have that expertise are now having the upper hand. What do you make of our country? Now let me also tell you, even in their hierarchy, in all hierarchy of the military, the police and others, I am convinced, without being told by anybody, that they have also all been infiltrated. They are all infiltrated. If you don't like my face, because I'm here in Mama, and you are an Igbo man, you are in power of authority, you pay more attention to people from the East, in positions, in patronage, and in all that. And I am in a position to lead a squad. You should know, the human heart is very wicked. I say, okay, get all of them for me. All the Igbos who are the front.
Yes, now.
Give signal. That is the human nature. This have been all others. Even the police force, even the paramilitary, immigration, mention all the things. These things are present. Even in our churches, these things are also present. In our mosques, they are present. In our traditional institution, favoritism, they are everywhere. So, the family is a microcosm of the society. And if you, as a father, you know how to play politics with your children, you are teaching them nonsense, a time will come when you grow with it. And the sin of corruption is present in all of us. It is left for you to be able to kill it so it doesn't grow, or you allow it to start small. The higher the position you get, the higher it expands.
Thank you so much.
All of these things put together will backfire on society. For my final word, I must tell you, my dear country, Nigeria, I see Nigeria traveling the journey of Somalia.
Well,
I see Nigeria.
We'll get to that stage.
Post Gaddafi.
No, we'll get to that stage. We'll get to that stage.
All hands must be on deck. Federal government, whether you like it or not, don't be boisterous, don't carry ego. State governments, all of you, stoop low to conquer. The other will start looking for these boys wherever they are. Befriend them deliberately. Organize them. Formally organize them. And if it is possible, recruit them into the military forces. Recruit them. Give them formalized training. Give them means of livelihood. Then all the errors that have existed, as in disequilibrium, political marginalization, and all these things, let's begin to address them.
Thank you.
So that Nigeria can remain as Nigeria.
Thank you.
If
Thank
we
you.
do contrary, bye-bye Nigeria.
Well, it will not be by Nigeria. God will definitely help us if we do the right thing. Well, you've heard then, they spoke the truth from their mind. Yeah. And they were able to watch their emotions because they don't want to run foul of the rules governing the airwaves. You heard them make some comments, some statements. It has nothing to do with ITV, but the truth must be told. Where are we really heading to in this country? Take a look at all facets. And now we're talking about security. Are we really winning the war against insecurity? Gentlemen, thank you so much for your wonderful views and opinions. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
We'll continue with this discussion in our next discussion segment on this morning on ITV, Sunday's edition. Don't go anywhere.